Right. Welcome back, y'all. Listeners, followers, believers. We appreciate y'all. Welcome back to P.H.D and me, Young Entrepreneurs Unleashed. I got a very, very fabulous guest here with me today, and I'm going to let him introduce himself, and we're going to dive right into it.
Yeah, how y'all doing today? I'm DeMarquez Rochelle. I came on, to get some better advice in life and change things around a little bit.
Nice, man. I just call him Quez, so it ain't no disrespect to him. I know he love the the theme and the name and all of that good stuff. I like to keep it simple. I love his name actually, but I love to just hit it simple. So today it's just me and Quez here today. This man here. I think sometimes we kind of confuse with the young people when you playing a sport. This is an athlete right here. When you playing a sport, that's pretty much their whole entire life. That's his job. That's not just a school thing, not just a extracurricular activity. Like, he's literally playing ball to secure his future. Like, that's just the vehicle he's going to choose to use to get to this life that he's trying to get to. So if you got any questions why he's on today, you're gonna find out by the end of it why he's on here talking about business. So this man, I'm gonna give out his stats and give out his all this good stuff. So 6'4". What position you play?
Shooting guard, a little bit of the three also. So
Combo. He does it all on defense. I love to see him sit down on defense and shut the opposing team's best player down. He's 6'4", 175 pounds from Fruit Clay. That's how you say it? I hate it. I mess it up every time I try to say it. Right here in North Carolina. Favorite hobbies?
I really say, if it's not the ball, and working on my craft, I've been playing music ever since I was a little kid. I grew up in a church actually playing drums. So, a lot of people, they don't know that I had that great talent. It's not just something that I just do just to do it. Like, I really have a great talent with doing it. So it's really hidden, to be honest.
That's funny you say that. That's similar to my story. I was the lead drummer in my church.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like 9 years old. I was the lead drummer.
Yeah.
So yeah, my mom was in church a lot. So I self-taught myself. Just watch. I never touched it, and I would just watch our head drummer play. I just watch him play. And things happen. As you grow up in church, you realize things happen. People move churches or whatever. And when he moved, that slot was open. And that was one of my first introductions to being ready.
Right.
When the opportunity comes, you can't get ready. You have to already be ready. So I would be home practicing on pots at the house.
Yeah.
I would be banging on pots at the house.
Yeah.
So my mom hated it. She hated it. They were like, what is this dude playing on these pots? These ain't no drums. But in my head, I would set it up just like the drums.
Mm-hmm.
And when that opportunity came open, bro, I was ready. And that first day, they gave all of us a chance. I blew them away. And I was like, that's our drum.
And it's kind of like I kind of did the same thing. It came from pots and pans, me tearing up my grandma's lamps, different stuff like that. It just came for me to realize, like, I knew that's what I wanted to do and have a great talent when I was younger, because just watching the drummer that was over me at church, it taught me a lot. Like, I always wanted to play, but it's like, no, it's not your chance yet. But once I just watched, and it was actually a girl drummer that was there from my home church. So I learned from her a lot, and I just went from there just watching. I never really got taught, and my parents, they don't play drums. So,
right.
Just hidden talent. So.
Man, that's dope. That's dope, man. Any favorite food or anything like that?
I had to go with chicken wings or beans or something like that.
Some protein.
Yeah, most definitely.
If you're thinking about going to that next level, you're going to have to get up to about 220, because them boys going to be banging you.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Favorite subject in school right now?
I definitely have to go with science, because math, not really a big fan, and reading or any anything like that. I love to learn different things about Earth, just in the world and period. I really say experiments is the most interesting thing. So
Nice,
yeah.
nice. So when you done, let's say you hanging up the boots, you hanging up the shoes, when you done with everything, what's your dream job, or well, not necessarily dream job, but what's your dream situation that you see yourself operating in once you hang it up playing ball?
Most of all, I want to have my own business, but in multiple ways. Not just run one business, but I want to be able to have multiple things going on, so that way I know that it won't be an end to it. That I won't have to, struggle or worry about this, worry about that. But I most definitely want to be an entrepreneur.
Nice.
Just be able to be the owner of a bunch of restaurants or something like that. I always use Shaq for a great example. He
Perfect.
owns a lot of J.C. Penney's. I think it's Macy also, but I know J.C. Penney for a fact. So in that category, something big.
That dude got his hands in everything, man.
Yeah.
You can't make $1 without giving Shaq some of it. And it's a real good situation because I believe he came into contact with some people that think, when you play ball, that's all you're supposed to do.
Right.
And he was always smart. So I really love that example that he's setting for all of us. Like, man, if you can support it, you can one day own it. You don't have to just be a consumer all the time. So if you got some power, put your face to it, and hopefully it'll go bigger. I'm trying to get this next. Cut it right there. Stop it. It's gonna sound a little similar, but it's gonna be a different question though. Alright. If I can get this thing to I know why they're doing that. It's too far away from me. Didn't do that last time, but we was close up on it. No why. Just saw it. God dang it. All right. So tell the people, just tell them a little bit about yourself and tell them a little bit about your journey to becoming this elite athlete that I've watched you become recently.
To be honest, it's really it's really the mentality. Like, I know a lot of people, they start off and that's just something they want to do. Like, when you want to go to the next level or just pro, like college, anything like that, it really starts out with your mental. Like, do you really want it? And that's the beginning of everything. Because you can play ball, you can do pickup, whatever, you know, but if you are not mentally prepared for it, if you're not really up for the task to get yourself better, then it won't be it. But for me personally, it had to be more of you gotta know that you really want it. It took me to have to put in overtime, and that whatever that means, going to the gym, even just getting up in the morning working out. Those things were mostly important because for those that aren't putting in that extra work, it's going to show in the game. And I had to learn that, you know, the hard way of doing those things. But it just took for me to just be getting up and, you know, working out. It took for me to put up extra shots every day. It also took me to hit the weights.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, that really played a big part. Once I started doing that more, I started seeing differences in my game. But I really say it started as a kid, just me hooping, you know, out in the front and just knowing like this is what I really want to do. And from there, you know, it just came along more and more. But it always starts out with your mental.
Definitely. Where your mind goes, your feet will follow. Right. And I always tell people that, like, when I see an athlete or a so-called athlete, and you telling me this is what you want to do with your life, but I'm seeing you on a video game, I'm seeing you out partying, I'm seeing you out smoking, I'm seeing you out drinking, you're gonna be your feet gonna follow your mind. Your mind ain't on the court. Your mind ain't on the field. You know, and we had a conversation one time where, you know, we weren't hitting the weights like we were supposed to. And then we started hitting them like real hard this summer. And you almost instantly started feeling like the product from that hard work we was putting in. Like, what would you tell a young athlete, you know, somebody younger than yourself, about how important it is to put in that work in the weight room and put in that work, you know, mentally just as well as physically?
Mentally just as well as physically is very important because, to be honest, you're not going to have too many opportunities where you're the same, like you're the same in 1 day, 1 week, 1 month. Like you got to take every day to a better finish. Like, I know a lot of people older than me, they have said, you know, I wish I could do this again, I wish I could do that again, but message to the young folks, like, you got to do it now. I also have a younger brother, he has 2 more years of high school, this season coming up and the season after, so I stay on him. Like, he's debating whether he want to play this sport. I'm like, you need to do everything you can now, because when you out of school and it's over, you know, your last year like me, you're going to be thinking like, man, why didn't I do it? Or you're going to be thinking, you know, I had a great chance to do it. So to the young people, definitely take those things serious now. Like, even if you don't want to hit the weights early, you need to be like running, you need to be doing everything to the game you can, because those things are very important early. And also, you got to think like you're going to be ahead of the game.
Right.
Over whoever you're playing against, who you're playing with, you're going to be ahead because it's just something you're used to and they're not. So
that's something we would actually say when we were doing our workouts. I would ask y'all, like, what y'all gonna do? What y'all gonna do when y'all meet somebody that think like me? And you know what I'm saying? Like, you thinking like a lamb and you up against a lion. Mm-hmm. Like, come on, man. Like, you got to get that mentality. You got to have that mentality, like, what they gonna do when they meet me? What they gonna do? They ain't prepared for me. There ain't no drill for me. It ain't no coach. He ain't paid me no attention. I wasn't on their scouting report. But when I show up this year, this game, it's gonna be on. Right. It's gonna be too late because the problem gonna already be right there in front of them, and the problem gonna be me. So yeah, man, we had some good days in the gym this summer, and that's what we was basically learning from each other. Like, yo, we gotta demand more from each other so we can get better together. So another question I got for you, like, what made you get involved with this particular sport of basketball, and what drives your competitive level?
Well, I mean, as a kid, like, started playing basketball. I started out with rec, and it was more more of like I could really shoot the ball. Like I hit a lot of shots, but I never worked on my shots, so I knew like right then and then people started coming along and saying you can shoot, you need to work at it. But I had to get it in my mind that that's what I really wanted to do. So kind of got to the point where I knew, you know, like this is what I want to do, and I'm gonna work on it. So as a kid, that's really where that all started up. I just had to take initiative, but my granddad also, when I was younger, because he kind of like built a concrete basketball court in the backyard of his house, and he always used to tell me, you want to be a hooper or a ball player, but you in the house all day, every day. So I just didn't never realize that until I got a little bit older, but he always was telling me that, like he kept telling me, and once I finally got the hang of it, it's like I was out there all the time, just putting up shots, just shooting. Even if dribbling or defense or whatever came later to get better at, I was always out there shooting and working on what I do best. So
nice.
And that's gonna be a big part in college. They recruited you to do what you do the best. It's not about what you can do better than somebody, it's what they recruited you for, and you do your job, and the team gonna come together. So
yeah, while we're on that subject, it wasn't one of my original questions, but I just thought about it. As you're learning about this recruiting phase, like what are some things that you're learning right now that can help or can hinder the next level that you're trying to get to? Some little things that we can't see as an adult that I can't probably see.
I would say for us, a couple tangibles that could help from experiences from high school years. I would go with one of my high school coaches used to always say that, like for instance, for about 2 years I lived on the campus at a school called Mount Zion Christian Academy out of Durham, North Carolina. We lived on top of the gym. It had on-campus stays, basically boarding students, and it was kind of like you got the gym downstairs and y'all don't go to the gym. My coach used to stress that to just about every player on the team. I mean, of course I went, but I wouldn't say I went as much as I could have.
Yeah.
And things that can help is those small tangibles right there, like going to the gym in the morning when you got the free access here at the gym. Those things could really help you on that next level. Just getting in there, working on form shooting, waking your body up early in the morning, getting used to that. Another thing I would say would help is stretching and recovery. That is probably, that's probably one of the most important things to your body, because if you just feeding in all that crazy stuff in your body, you're not going to be able to recover. I know I do it a lot of times, but then it's kind of like a process of getting yourself out of those bad habits of just eating junk food. Or because me personally, I love Zaxby's, so I went down. So y'all want to go to Zaxby's? Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of like I'm trying to get my mind trained up and out of that of just eating Zaxby's and not just Zaxby's, just drinking craziness. I mean, I know
sugar.
that
Soda.
the sugar, the soda, me knowing that I can do better. So those are some of the main important things that can help you on that next level, because it's everything else is on you. Everything else is physical. You gotta work out. You gotta do what you gotta do for yourself. You gotta work on ball handling. There's just so much to the game that can help you for the next level. Things that can hurt you. I have a couple main things, and I've seen it face to face happen to one of my teammates. Social media, that's like one of the main points. Social media can really hurt you. You got to be careful what you post. Now, on my social media, I really don't post anything other than basketball. I may post like a funny meme or something like that, or I may say this here and there, but I don't post anything on my page other than basketball, because you don't know who's watching on those pages. dad's telling me time and time, it's like, you know, you got to be careful what you post. You got to be careful. And I was hearing him, but I wasn't. And then I seen it happen to a teammate. And he was like, oh, man, I didn't think this happened. They shut down the offer for him to go to school. So whole scholarship for him was shut down, and, you know, it really broke him. So when I seen that, from there, it's just strictly business on my page. So
strictly business. I love it, man.
So that was one of the main things I would say, but everything else that can hurt you, you know right from wrong. It's kind of like, you know, if you know that you in a bad crowd, you just need to get away from it. You know that those ain't the people that's going to be in the gym with you. Or you know, if you're out one night and something happens and you get the blame, or you out with somebody, they steal, or you get shot on any occasion, like, you know, you're not supposed to be with them, you know, that anything can hurt you from that next level, and you never know who's watching. So that's the most important thing. So how you can be helped, and how it can also be bad for you.
So basically, in a nutshell, what you're saying is, if you're trying to take this thing serious, if the people that you're around, if you're saying, I'm trying to go to the gym, I'm locked in, I'm in the gym, and their focus is everywhere else, that's your cue to know right there, everybody can't go where you're trying to go. And it's not even, it's so ironic that the kid that does come with you to the gym, or wants to be that kid in the gym with you, they always get better, and then they potentially get an offer.
Right.
So it's like, if you want to go where I'm going, if you on the same path as me, I'm going to see you on that road with me. I'm not going to see you if you clubbing, or if you're doing the wrong things, and I'm not at those places at those times, you're not going the same place as me. So some things should be just kind of boom, right in your face. But when you're young and you're worrying about friendship, sometimes, you know, that peer pressure is worse than drugs, man. It's like, I got to do what they doing.
And I also had a teammate that was kind of like that, but it was more of like that same scenario, vice versa. Like, he used to be like, you know, he wouldn't do this or do that, but I was the one that ended up picking up my first offer, and then it just went from there. So you're gonna tell the real from the fake, and you're gonna know who really want it. So
easily gonna find out. So we're gonna pause that one right there. All right. The way I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna mesh it in.
Yeah.
These babies.
Yeah. She's putting me on baby duty. Sitting in the parking lot.
So when it comes to balancing athletics and academics, man, like, how do you maintain your grades? Because you was at some really good schools, man. Like, how do you maintain the demand for the high grades, and how do you manage your time, like effectively managing your time and your schedule in the classroom and on the court?
Well, living on campus, it was more of a thing like, you gotta know what's important to you and what's not. And that was like, that made or break me, because my first year and I was there at Mount Zion, I wouldn't, like, at first I would definitely say my grades weren't the best they could be. It's just terrible for me. But that was also in a time of live stream school. We weren't actually going in the classroom. And so we were going just maybe like a day or two out the week. So it was kind of wicked, because when we needed help, or, you know, it's something we didn't understand, it's like we either had to ask our classmates, but by then it's like, yo, they got that whole answer sheet. So it's like, you're not learning, you're just getting the answers, and I was just keeping it 100. Like, that's just how it was the whole year, you know. Like, before you actually try to learn it yourself, you're like, oh, if I can go ahead and get the answers right here, you know,
easy.
I'm not going. So, and I didn't even realize how much that was hurting me.
Yeah.
So, I definitely will say that you gotta know what's important to you, what's not. If I knew that when I woke up in the morning there at the dorm room, I gotta do everything for myself, far as, you know, a routine. You know, get up, do what you gotta do, and then if you was already up for the gym in the morning, you know, you already be woke up and stuff like that. But after that, you got your first class of the day, which started at 8:20. after that, it was kind of like you go through all your classes a day, and then depending on the day, you may have practice that night.
Mm-hmm.
You may have, because I know there, the 2 years I was at Mount Zion, we had to have another sport to play basketball there, which was cross country for us hoopers.
Okay.
So we did cross country, and that really taught me a lot because our coach, you know, I will say that you know, things didn't go the best way I wanted them to, but I do give a shout out to Coach Marvin Reed. He taught me a lot as far as being tough and being the person beyond me being who I am. One day he said, if you can't run, you can't hoop, because that's really all we do. So we had to run cross country, and that was really tough because me being a hooper, I wasn't used to running, and I wasn't used to running that far.
Yeah.
So I mostly say that that was really tough for me. And then as far as the school and academic part, it's like if you had cross country and then practice after, you had to be like in your room, either washing your clothes or doing your homework or studying. Far as
college vibe.
Yeah, like it's really like an early college thing.
Yeah.
And you know, you just have to make sure that you're doing everything that you can to stay on top of it. But I will say my first year, it really got over my head. It was a lot for me. And I seen a lot going on. And then you think like, man, I want to go home. And you know, you away from your family, everything else is just playing in your mind. So then that comes in a mental state. You got to be strong. You got to stay tough. And like I said, I also had a younger brother, so I could never show like that I was hurt, or I couldn't show that this and that is bothering me, because then that would play a big part on him. Even when things were going on, even when I was going through this and that, I never let him know, because you know that would hurt him. So I always have to be strong, but that's just academically, and that's, you know, far as the athlete part, because that athlete part that's really serious. Coach Reed, he expected highly out of us. The main thing I can say for Coach Reed that I learned, like, you got to sit down on defense. I've always been able to shoot the ball, like, you know, but he also helped me get more confidence and just shooting that ball. But the defensive thing was mainly the most part. And I know, like, when I miss defense assignments in practice, I'd be defensive sliding. It's a drill that we used to do, and we started at the bottom of the goal. We run to the top of the key, get low, and defensive slide all the way around the three-point line. Come back to the middle once you get all the way around and do the same thing. So that eventually broke me, you know. And then it's like after practice, you dog tired, and then you got school the next morning, jump up, do the same thing. So that really played a big part.
So one thing about sports that I love, it's like an excellent teacher for real life, man. And I hate really saying real life, but some people really don't know how to separate what's going on in their head versus what's going on outside in the world. And sports is like that transparency. You mess up, like especially in basketball, if you make a mistake, man, somebody can go down and capitalize off of your mistake in less than like 4 seconds, 3 seconds.
Right.
Sometimes in life, you might mess up and don't even get penalized till like months later, days later, weeks later.
Right.
But on that court, you have to really understand like opportunity. You have to understand how to be disciplined, fundamentals. It like the whole game of basketball is so beautiful because it's so simple, but it's so complex at the same time. And some of the stuff that you just disclosed to me, I didn't even realize from a leader standpoint, how you were saying you couldn't even show weakness because you never even said yourself. You was like my little brother right there watching. So I can't even give him that inch of doubt in his head about this decision we made. I didn't even really pick that up when I was coming to watch y'all play and stuff like that. When I first met y'all and started getting to know who y'all was, that never even dawned on me that's like some next level leadership. Like you almost in a parenting stage, but you a child yourself. Like I can't even show if I'm hungry. Like I'm gonna call dad, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying, I'm not gonna show him like I'm starving. Like we gonna get something. You know what I'm saying? We gonna get this done. So man, that's deep. I hope the people are listening. I hope they understanding what it is you saying, because you really breaking this down from athletics and from the academic standpoints. That's a lot to deal with for somebody still in high school.
Right.
That's a lot. It
really plays a big part on me early, because I will say, like, as we were going and on campus, you know, living on campus, I would say, like, my coach, he probably was the closest thing to us telling us right from wrong. But main thing he stressed is, like, just get it done in the classroom and come out here on the court and work and pick up whatever you need to pick up. It's kind of like it's a you eat or you starve situation. Like that's actually a song, but I've always been saying that saying. I don't think I'm gonna let that one go. Either you gonna eat or you gonna starve, because you know that's probably the realest is gonna get. My coach, he always used to say, you know, get in a position where you can either flip what you have going on, or get in a position that you are somewhere that you want to be and make 6-figure or more. Get in a position where you could be surrounded by what you love to do, or around what you love to do, because you don't want to get in a position where you want to make money doing something you don't want to do. So
gotta do what you gotta do.
That really stuck with me when he said that. So
I love it, man. I love it. So if you could give some jewels and some nuggets, what strategies that you use to stay focused, especially in like time periods of like exams, like finals and all that, like how did you deal with that part of the situation?
Well, of course we didn't have exams until like the end of the year, but throughout the year, me personally, I thought of a lot of things that may have bothered me or made me mad, or I thought of a lot of things that could potentially hurt me. Like for instance, I would say I thought about struggling. I thought about not making it in life, and like every time I felt like I was finna go down or something's not working out, I just thought about like you don't want to be that person and say you could have, because like I have a lot of family that you know that's a lot of the conversations are about. So once I felt that I was gonna fall, I just thought about things that could be fuel to my fire. If I feel like, oh, this is not working out, or this is happening bad for me, I thought about things that would make me mad, and I would turn it around in the right way. Because my dad always used to tell me that. He's like, you're angry, but you gotta know where to put that fuel too. And once I started figuring out how to do things and maneuver, you know, it got way better for me. So
as a young man, that's important, because a fire can warm you up, and a fire can burn down everything. You just got to choose which direction to use it. You know what I'm saying? Which way to put that energy and that emotion to be your positive. Because the way that thing works, just as positive as a thing could be, it could always be just as negative.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So using that as fuel, that's a great way to lay your foundation, man. Like one thing I always tell you, I'm not worried about you. Like you got a great foundation, but I don't do you like I was done. People, they didn't worry about me, so they kind of just like he good and didn't even check on me. I don't never do y'all like that. Even though I know your foundation good, I still ask you how this going, how that going, because I know how it feels to be like he got it all figured out. There ain't no way I can have this world that I just entered into figured out.
Right.
I just might be a little ahead of people my age, but I don't have it all figured out. I still need help. I still need you to guide me. So that's one thing, man, I'm proud of you about. Like you have your head on straight, even though sometimes you come to me or your dad and you kind of down and you kind of worried, but at the same time, we know you gonna figure it out, but we give you little nuggets. I try not to talk your head off, but we give you little nuggets like, hey.
And that's most of all. My dad, I would say he's just a different person in my life, and that's just from a little kid up. Like, you know, he's a different person, other than just regular people telling me like he may be telling me something, I may get the message different from someone else.
Yeah.
But regardless of all that going on, my dad is just he's more like, you know, mentor. He's more than just, you know, a father to me. So, you know, of course I gotta appreciate my dad for everything. Also my mom too.
Yeah.
Like my mom, they both just all I need for real. When times gonna get hard, they gonna do whatever they can to, you know, be there. They're gonna break their neck at any moment, you know, to make sure me or whoever else is good. So it's kind of like those type of things you gotta take into consideration. I know a lot of times it may not happen when I want. I may feel like, man, it's not making sense at all. Because me personally, like, I say it in a respectful manner. I don't, you know, just go to them any kind of way, but I will let it be known, like, look, you know, it's not making sense.
Not
but
to be.
I just have to stick by them because, you know, they really have brought me a long way as far as just being the person I am. And, you know, that's just my own dad, so that's all.
That's cool, man. I learned a lot from him because you older than my oldest, so he's in a position that I've yet to be in. So a lot of some of the things that y'all be doing, I go because one, to support you, but two, I'm just seeing the world that I'm gonna be in. So
right.
I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy.
See it early firsthand.
So I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like, there's so much going on around you guys, and just being there to protect y'all. That's all I care about. Like, and y'all blazing the trail. It means a lot. You don't realize it yet, but you know your brothers coming behind you. Got what, 3 brothers coming behind you?
Yeah, and that's just on my dad's
That's just
side.
on one side.
I got a whole nother side on my mom's side.
So yeah, and it's like, man, like, it's tough being the first, man. It's tough. Like, yeah, and you don't have no examples. You the example.
Right. And it's even on my mom's side, it's still hard to have an example because like, you don't, like, even if you be around an older brother, it's kind of hard because a lot of times, especially if you got a brother that's maybe like 4 or 5 years, like me and my older brother, by then, you know, he might be moved out or whatever, you know, so it's kind of like you still figuring it out. Now, if you got somebody that's right there with you, then you gonna see what's right, you gonna try to do from them, you know, so.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So we're gonna switch angles. We're gonna switch up top. Oh, man, that's dope, man. It's crazy. Breaking these down, it's making a lot of sense. So, Quez, we're gonna dive into this topic of dealing with peer pressure, man. Like, how? Okay, I can't even imagine how much pressure it is out there with technology, with, you know, the way the world is shrinking. I say the world shrinks because, man, with these devices, man, I can talk to somebody in China right now, you know, so the world is a lot smaller. But, you know, with you being a future college athlete, which we already know is going to happen, the offers are coming, and that's only the beginning. But how do you, at this point, how do you handle the pressure, you know, that comes from yourself as well as the external factors?
Most of all, I would say you gotta know. Like, I would say it's a time for everything with that. You don't, like, most of all, don't let someone talk you into something you know is not right. Also, far as it coming to do what you're supposed to, for me personally, I would say, like, it's kind of like, man, you just gotta lock in. Like, you just gotta focus on what you know could bring you to the next level in life. Period.
What's more important?
Yeah, you just gotta know what's more important, and, you know, cut out what's not for you. For that topic is that a lot of that plays itself. Like, if you're gonna do what you're supposed to or you're not. So, that's most of that. But the way I handle it, I just think about what can I say? I think about something that's could hinder, something that could go wrong, and I'd be like, oh, how did I let this overcome me or something like that? So, it's probably most important.
So with that, being said, has there been a time that you felt like just completely overwhelmed with situations? And if so, how did you manage to overcome it? Like, which specific situation, and how did you manage to find your way out of it?
Well, I actually can. Is before I got my first offer, it was kind of just like everything just felt downhill. Like going to the AAU tournaments, I'm playing, but like before I'm actually thinking mentally that I'm doing bad or good, like I could go a game where I drop like a solid 20 points, a solid like 4 or 5 rebounds, solid stats all the way down the line. And then I feel like, man, it's college coaches at our game, and then no one's talking, and it's like you go downhill from there. So what I had to realize is you got to do that on multiple occasions. You got to do that multiple times, because you don't never know who's watching or when they're watching. So once I finally learned that, hey, you can't just do this one time. This got to be multiple times. And I also figured out, like, it's not just scoring. It's also more the defensive side and more of the small things that other people's not going to do. And I actually got my first offer off of defense. When the college coach called me, he didn't mention anything about scoring. He just said, I seen that you hustled. I seen that you were getting steals, you grabbing boards, and they had a point guard that was killing y'all's team. You got on him, you shut him down from scoring anything. So those small things matter. It's whoever's gonna do the dirty work at the correct time. So
man,
that's most important.
You know what you just did just now, man. Like the main thing in basketball that gets the mainstream is what? Scoring. Putting the ball in the air, putting it in the hoop, right? That's the goal. It's literally the goal of the game, the score a goal. But that part that athletes don't realize is the other parts, the defense, the rebounds, the knowledge of the game, understanding the way the whole entire thing works is just as important as putting that ball in the basket, because all of those other things contribute to the final goal, which is winning. So I've been on teams and we both played places where we had a heck of a game, man. Like we had the leading score and everything, but somebody with 2 or 3 points, with the key block, the key rebound, right, the key assist, the key steal, that's what solidified the game for the other team. And that's why that's so important, because all of those factors, like you talking about a rebound. A rebound is not just a rebound. A rebound means either your team didn't score and we secured the ball, right, or our team didn't score and I gave us a second chance. It ain't just a rebound, dude. It's more. It's who has the rebound has the ball.
And I would also say, like, with that coming, like, the game is gonna come together, like, and I can speak a little bit about the offensive side, like, man, if you could just go ahead and swing, you don't know what opportunity is open. Like, say for instance, I have me and I'm playing on a team, and we're all hooping, and then the ball starts getting stuck. And once I start doing it, you gotta understand, like, look, if it's gonna get stuck here, it's gonna get stuck there, then it's gonna start playing in everybody's mind that, hey, it's okay once one person do it. So, like, a lot of times with that's important too. Like, college coaches look at that. Like, is the ball sticking? Like, or is he gonna move the ball? Like, that's most important of college basketball. You don't ever really see him holding the ball like that. So
And you don't see a lot of one-on-one.
You don't.
You will sit down quickly in the college game if you try to go out there and beat those 5 guys that was the best in their city, their town, their state. You're not gonna beat him like that.
Right. So yeah, it's most important.
Like, yeah. One thing, you know, that we've learned about this game is nothing is instant gratification. So how does it feel being a part of a situation where you know it's got to be like hard work, reward, hard work, like how does that feel knowing that you have to put in so much hard work? You got to shoot like 1,000 jumpers just to hit 3 in one game, just to hit 4 in one game. How does it feel being a part of something like that? Does that make you stronger or what?
Mentally, physically, it makes you stronger, and the reward by the time you finish, you feel great. But that's something that my AAU coach preached about. He gave a shout out to Coach James Black, and it's like one of the things he preached. You know, like you gotta have reps, you gotta have a better work ethic. That's something that he's told me all the time. I may not feel like I'm not going hard enough, but he sees something different. So, and I'm not gonna argue. So it's kind of like, man, he preaches that you gotta work hard, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. And right then you might not realize it, but I could go back and watch film of our practice, and I'm like, I see what he's saying, or I understand what he's talking about. So those things right there, they could carry a long way right there. But it's got to start with that work, and got to do whatever it takes to get better, be a better person. And that's just something my AAU coach preached about. I've been with him since, I want to say my freshman year, not a little bit after, but I've been with him since, or it might have been 8th grade summer. Yeah, 8th grade, I've been playing with my AAU coach since 8th grade. Team called Juice All-Stars. Actually reversing to BSM Brick Squad Monopoly. It's really a great program. I would say that one thing he will make sure that you're doing is going hard. And on defense, it's a certain defense to run, and it's like if you're not gonna get there, if you didn't come to hoop that day, you might as well sit down and cheer your teammates, because he gonna tell whether you can get it today or not. So that's just And with that, like peer pressure, I mean, like, man, if you don't get out there and play defense, you coming out the game.
You're sitting down.
Like fast. It's not no, so that's kind of like, man, that's one of the biggest peer pressures right there. And the way I maintain it is just go hard at all costs.
Yeah.
Like, just move quicker. Now, if you're having an off day and you can't show it, you just can't.
You gotta make it up with effort.
Right. So, that's how that goes.
So you said something that just triggered a light bulb in my head. You said, be a better person. Have you seen the connection between a great ball player and a great person? Like, have you seen situations where it was a good ball player, pretty good guy, but he wasn't a good person? Or you seen where this pretty good ball player was a pretty good person? Do you see a correlation between the two? Because I see it as, if you got work ethic, if you got discipline, if you got the ability to give something your all every time, it automatically makes you a good person. But dang, what if you tie that into being a good athlete at the same time? Like, it could be endless. Or I just think about it like, man, you sometimes play ball, even pick up ball with these guys. They pretty good, but they're not a good person. Like, they'll lie, they'll foul, they'll cheat, anything just to win. So do you see a connection between being a good person and also being a good athlete, or am I reaching?
Well, I mean, with that thing right there, it's kind of like, you got those people that's gonna be a hooper, and you got those people that's like they live in it. I would mostly say, like, man, some people really are good on the inside. Like some people, they hoop, that's what they want to do, and then things just fell short in different ways. And you got those that say they want to hoop, but they might got a little talent and they can hoop. They may hit a little couple shots, or that might have been something they want to do, but in the long run, it's not good for you, you know, your person. It's not good for you to be around, because you could easily turn into, or you pick up whatever, you know, they got going on. So it's kind of like you want to be around those that's peer, I would say peer athletes. Like, be around somebody that you know is going to do right. Like, it's okay to laugh, choke, have fun, laugh about some things, but if you know somebody gonna do something crazy, there's no point in even wasting your time. Like, I tell my brother that all the time. I only hang around one person, two people at the most. One other person than him, but two people for me. It's him and someone else. So it's kind of like, man, once I feel there's something iffy, I already know it ain't but one of y'all. So it's like, you know. So I go from there and I tell them, man, you know, don't have a whole bunch of people in your circle, because they could pressure you into something crazy and you won't know how to handle it, or you could get to the point where you feel like you got it all, and there goes the devil knocking at your door, you know. So
I think me and one of my friends was talking about this recently. Like, it's important to have those people that'll be honest, you know what I'm saying, not just along for the ride. Because some people put these people around them, somebody in your situation that's gonna be a really, 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 really good college athlete, and we're looking, you know, beyond that. But at the same time, somebody might come into the situation knowing that same exact statement and won't do or say things that'll keep you on the right path. You know, like, you get these yes guys all the time. You get these yes men sometimes, and I always said, man, I don't want no yes men around me. Like, if I'm doing something crazy, like, I need to know what I'm doing. Don't worry about my feelings. You know what I'm saying?
That's really important, because a lot of these dudes, man, they be with their homeboys or whatever, they be like, do this, do that, and it's kind of like, bro, you gotta make that decision, bro. Like, that's life changing. Like,
that's crazy.
What you about to do might change your life. It might put you in a bad place.
Yeah.
And you might not realize that early. So.
Oh man, like, keep the yes men away from us, man. We want to know that we being a good guy, we being a great man, we being a great person. If I'm doing something jacked up, don't worry about my feelings. Go ahead and let me know. Set me straight. I want people strong enough to do that around me. I don't want nobody who, man, if I say something, he gonna take away this, and nah, it ain't nothing like that. So yeah, it's important to keep those strong people around you, man. So we're gonna switch topics on that note. Be right back. Damn. That was a good one. I swear this gonna be that one. All right, so we're gonna jump right into these scouts and recruitings, man. Like, how's that going right now? Like, the college scouts, you know, we know that can kind of be nerve-wracking when you playing in the game itself and knowing that somebody is in the stands and stuff like that. So far, how's your interaction with this phase of it, with everybody kind of bidding and putting their bid in for you? How have you been handling that, and how's it been actually going?
It's really tough to I would say, like, playing, you don't want to think about that, because that would really break you. I've been practicing and playing up under some big schools, probably some of the craziest D1s, and some lower division 2s. Like, I've played in front of some really good coaches, but the thing about it is, you can't think about that. You gotta play your game and hoop, because it's more like, once you think about it and you take yourself out the game, now you're worried about this, now you're worried about that. As far as the recruitment as it is right now for me, I would want it to go a lot smoother. But it just comes with getting in front of the right eyes. It just comes with a lot of that. I would say that most important, you got to get exposed early. That exposure early like around freshman year, those things like that matter because, like a lot of top players in the country, they've been getting looked at since that time.
Yeah.
So you got to look at, like, if you say, oh, I wonder this, I wonder that, like, that is really important most of all because those guys that get looked at early. Now for the guys that get looked at later, you got to put in their hard work now.
Yeah.
Like, it can't be, this guy looked at early. This can't be like that. You got to go ahead and put the work in now and get noticed who you can get noticed by in this present moment because you can't do nothing about the after, the past. You can't do nothing about that. So, but I definitely want that recruitment to go a little bit stronger for me this upcoming year. I'm just trusting God, keep working hard and doing what I got to do for it to go smoothly.
Absolutely. So what advice you going to give to the younger people that's listening on that exact process?
Most of all, I say you just got to work. Like, whatever you do best on the court, work on that. And work on it more than just, oh, I did it today. It needs to be like twice a day.
Yeah.
Like, you need to be knowing, like, hey, off the back of your head, this and that. Or, for instance, I would say I used to watch Jordan a lot, but The Last Dance was actually on Netflix. I don't know if it's still up there, but since it had been up there, I maybe watched it like 10 times. Just playing the series back and forth, and trying to figure out, like, what did he do? How did he stay in it? Of course, they don't have everything detail by detail to help you in particular, but one thing I can say is if you really want to do it, you got to stay to that and that only. You can't let these distractions and everything else get to you. It's okay to have free time and do this, do that, but
Work got to be done before free time.
If you want to do that, it's really like time is ticking. You don't have time forever. And as I explained to my younger sibling, I'm like, man, I wish I could get 2 more years right now. Like, I wish I could go back and change my freshman and sophomore year of me just chilling at the house, eating snacks and just playing the game. Like, I worked, but I didn't work as hard as I could go. My bounce is through the roof now, but it could be a lot better. It could have been way crazier if I put in the work early. Freshman year, like, what kept me strong, probably around that freshman year or 8th grade, my AAU coach had us going to a school called Knightdale High School. It's in Knightdale, North Carolina. It's tractor tires all back there, and we were lifting tractor tires at young age, working on our bounce, working on our quick first step. Like, those things really help. And then I ended up getting one in my yard once we was actually living in the first house we lived in. And like I said, I come from, nothing a lot. So it's kind of like when you come from something that isn't really the best, it really makes you go even harder. Yeah. So out there we had tractor tires. Me and my brother, we'd just be working on the tire, trying to get better, get stronger, get more bounce. Because that's when we really figured out, like, this could really change who we are, like, on this court. So those tractor tires are most important. I know a lot of us, we watch John Morant.
Yeah.
You watch his story, he's gonna say the same thing I'm saying right now. So those tractor tires are definitely important, and just working on that craft is really what's gonna keep you noticeable to these college coaches. Also, film. That film, it needs to be sent out. College coaches don't know about you unless you're sending film out. So they can't get mad at you for trying, for trying to make your name noticeable. If you're not a top recruit, you got to do everything it takes.
Get in their face.
Everything.
Especially in the digital age. Like, you guys have so many resources. Back in 03 when I came out of high school, we barely had a cell phone. So we just got a cell phone like 2 years before I graduated high school. So it was like we couldn't record ourselves in the backyard and send that out and somebody see it, no matter how much talent we had. And it's amazing that, everybody always got their cell phone in their hand, and nobody isn't capturing what they're doing. Like some of the stuff that we did that nobody will ever see. If somebody could see that, man, we would have been gone. We would have been out of there. So, but practicing, like, I love what you said about just practicing on your craft, man. Because I have a saying where if you want to be good at something, you practice it until you get it right. But if you want to be elite, you practice it till you can't get it wrong. You practice that jump shot till you can't miss it. Not till you hit 50. You shoot that ball until you can't miss it. You dribble that ball until you can't lose it. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to be elite at anything, man, you practice it so much and you get obsessed with it. That's what me and your dad was trying to tell y'all when we were. I don't know if we were saying it the right way. You got to get obsessed with this thing if you want to be known for this is what you did. This is what he did. When he was coming up, he was so obsessed with every time he would walk, he would dribble, he would be in the store with a ball. But if you become so obsessed with it, that round sphere gonna take you some places that our feet ain't never touched, our eyes ain't never seen.
Right.
Keep that in your mind, because shooting is such a gift, man. Like I watch you make jump shot after jump shot after jump shot, and it's like you foul him, he's still gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? You get your hand up, he's still gonna make it. But you still got so much more room and so much more opportunity to get better at it. That's the crazy part.
It's not open.
You ain't even scratched the surface. So I love that you said that to the young people. Like you guys got to get obsessed with this thing. You can't chips, candy, hanging out with your friends. It has to take a back seat because those people are gonna be there. But your dream got an expiration date. your year's gonna expire.
One thing I will say is like when it's all over, man, you're gonna be like, where are those people at now? You're gonna think like, man, they not there then. Like a lot of people that I've been cool with since maybe my freshman year in high school, I don't talk to none of them, but one of them, and it's kind of like, man, that's reality. That's how it is. And my parents always told me that. It was like, you go through this, you go through that, but you're not gonna have none of those friends there. And I didn't believe that until it really happened. And it's like now, on the last year, none of them are around. So,
but I always say this, man, and we're gonna end it here. But like, a man who knows his purpose, he don't care what nobody think about him, because he knows the only thing that matters is what he thinks about him. That's the only thing that's true. So keep that mentality going, man, and I'm telling you, you're gonna go far. So I'll cut it right there. I think I got one more. Man, he didn't hit. Hey, you gonna get up?
Yeah, kill him.
Get straight. Coming back in every time. All right. So we're gonna get right into some personal growth and goals, man. Alongside with your athletic and academic goals, what do you plan to foster in your personal growth and your personal development side? Like, how do you feel? What do you feel is necessary for you to grow on the personal side right now, aside from basketball?
I would say just growing out a lot of bad habits.
You keep going back to that. I love it.
Yeah, I just that's mostly like my goals. I'm gonna achieve them by being the best I can be at all costs. Like that's normal, but as far as growth, just gotta get out of bad habits. It's not really much I can say on that. It's like you gotta work on yourself. You gotta get better. It's gotta be a stopping point.
So, like one of the books that I just finished is about self-discipline, and I truly believe like the person who exhibits the greater amount of self-discipline, they have less of an opportunity to fail, because failure usually comes when you take the opportunity away from yourself. Nobody really can take an opportunity away from you. If you earn it and you create certain opportunities for yourself, nobody can take it from you. But if you just have the slightest bit of lack in your self-discipline, you can take it away from yourself. So it's ironic that you keep going back to the habits, because self-discipline is just a practice of a lot of good habits.
Right.
A lot of people aren't really bad people. They just got a lot of bad small habits. And if you have a habit, say for instance you have a great habit of when you wake up, you brush your teeth, you wash your face, you read a sentence out of a book, a paragraph out of a, you know what I'm saying? You meditate for 5 minutes before you do anything. Like, your life will change exponentially, rapidly, like boom, like that, because you probably had a nasty habit of listening to some kind of rap song while you was getting dressed, and they talking about killing, and they talking about dealing with 50 women. Now all of this is in your spirit all day from the beginning of the day. But if you just remove some of that little bad, when I drive, I listen to an audio book instead of listening to music. If you just exemplify 1-2 better habits per day in your life, I love that you keep going back to it, man. I just want some good habits, like, because that's all you are. Looking ahead, what are your aspirations and goals as you transition into this college player? What are some things you think you're going to be, looking forward to doing once next year comes and you're a college athlete?
And I'm looking forward to it being as easy as possible. I really don't want to have to struggle on schoolwork and be trying to play ball. I don't want it to be no excuse of my first year being in college. I really want to say, like, I look forward to just going to college and knocking out schoolwork and hitting the court and trying to get my name out there as much as possible so I can get farther and farther in life. Like, it's just a main goal for me. Like, my mind's not really on anything else. Like, it's just really playing ball and, doing what I got to do to provide for my family in the long run.
So, with that being said, we both know I'm a college guy. I got a few pieces of hardware from almost every level of college, literally.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to express to you, it is tough, and nobody gonna sugarcoat that with you. I'm definitely not gonna sugarcoat it with you. I'm literally working on a doctorate degree right now. The way that I utilize my time, that what makes it easier. Like, if I get an extra minute, I might start some work, because the college that I go to, I can see all of the work, all of the assignments for the whole 8 weeks. So if I got a free day today, like today, I'm going to jump on there and get a little bit ahead. Maybe I might start doing the research this week. There's going to take those type of moments when you go to college, because the college work and high school work is a lot different. It's a lot more on you, and you're going to do a lot more research. So I do want to advise, once you do step into the college realm, to pursue some kind of study groups. You're going to need them. Even if you're doing good or you're doing decent, still yet, some coaches, because you're going to be playing ball, some coaches even require that you do some kind of study group. So it's just like playing ball. The more practice, the better. I heard you say one particular time about how math isn't, something you're going to have to run to it. You can't run from it, because it's gonna beat you there. So one thing you wanna take that approach in is, all right, I'm gonna run right at what's the worst. Just like on the basketball court. Okay, they say I'm a bad rebounder. Tonight I'm gonna have 15. Like, I'm gonna run straight to every rebound is mine. You got to take that same approach with the academics, because I do want school to not be such a hard thing for you. You know, I do expect the struggle because you're going there to elevate yourself. So I do expect some of it to be complex, but I don't expect it to be so hard that you can't get on the floor that night because you ain't passing your classes.
Right. Yeah.
We definitely don't need or want that.
That's most important, man.
Yeah, definitely. Student athlete, student first. So that's pretty cool, man. Like one thing I think, you know, trying to grow in that level, in that aspect, that's gonna pay you some dividends. So keep that mindset, and we're gonna keep pressing forward.
All right.
All right, let's switch. We only got 2 more. All right. So, bro, we're gonna dive right into one of my favorite topics, man. We're gonna talk about the support system, the supporting cast, the people that stand beside you, the people that stand behind you, the people that truly love you, man. Like, who are the key people in your support system, and how have they helped you navigate these challenges of being a student athlete?
Most of all, I gotta start out with my dad.
Yes, sir.
I really want to say, like, my dad really, he doesn't hold anything from me. He's gonna let me know at all costs what it is and what has to be done. And that's really the best way. I might not like it, I might not like what he's saying, but that is most important in my life, because I'm gonna know what to do, how to do it, when to do it. And that's most important. But I'm also gotta go with my dad. My mom, she's also a very big part too, because when something's not making sense that my dad may be saying, or she may have a whole different perspective of things, and she also has her own things going on in the day too. So it's kind of like she has a whole different meaning of things, and I pick up a lot of things, but mostly my mom and dad. But you know, my grandma, she may have advice about something. I also gotta give a shout out to my mentor, man, my guy, man. He's, ever since we moved beside each other, he's just been nothing but greatness. This guy right here, man, teaching me a lot. Just not just about basketball, man. Just life itself. It really plays a big part, because it opens up a lot of things in ways that you don't understand, things that your father might, or your dad or your mom might not tell you. Just from somebody else seeing it, somebody else has been through way worse, and has came from the bottom of the bottom and can say, hey, like, nah, your dad's right, bro. You gotta understand this, you gotta understand that. And right then it might be feeling like, man, this is crazy, like, but at the same time, they've been there and done that, so he knows. Another person I could really say, well, I say 2 people is just coaches. Like my AAU coach, man, I would say, like, he has tough ways. He may not explain it in a way that you really gonna understand right then, but he's yelling it out to you, because like that's how he gives it off. But you can't take it in that way. You can't take it as, oh, I'm against him, because if he was against him, he wouldn't have you on the team. So you gotta look at it both ways. But as of right now, as far as adulting, that's really who's close to me in my circle. I don't really have a whole bunch of talkers or a whole bunch of people in my circle, because eventually it could get poisoned. Like, and those things is important, because it's always gonna be that one jealous person. It's always gonna be one person that hate that you're doing the right thing or doing the good out of things, and those are most important. But most of all, my dad, like, man, he really plays a big part for me. Like, me and him, and anybody seeing me and my dad together, they're gonna say, y'all look just like that's just one thing that everybody says, man. Like, so that really cheers me up, because like, I know they're gonna say, oh yeah, I know who he is off rip, and they don't even know me. So that's a lot to that. But as far as my dad, Y'all would think that me, you know, just like if you knew me personally, you would think me and my dad is homeboys.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even though it comes down to advice and father to son, things like that, y'all would think that we homeboys. Cause yeah, we argue like, but at the end of the day, that's my dad. So you know, anything that he tells me, I'm gonna listen. So you know, like that's just how that goes. It may feel like affliction at the time being, or he may feel like, oh, I'm not listening to him. And you know, a lot of times it's gonna feel crazy, but later on I realize, like, you know, the point he's making, or I realize. So
yeah, we in a tough position, man. We in a position of knowing, and we in a position of teaching it to somebody who we feel like they don't understand it the way we understand it. So sometimes I have to sit back and just watch, because I'm not in that position yet with my boys. My boys are still way younger than you guys. And I'm watching him, like, I'm watching how he, whatever you doing, he got your back, like 1,000%. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got funding, the cheerleader, you already, when somebody asks you who gonna be there, you already know one that's gonna automatically be there. Now I don't know who else coming, but I know who coming. Like, man, like that's so, it's so important to watch and experience that from this side, man. I really love that, because that's what me and him probably wanted when we were coming up. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all just don't take it wrong when we do it, but sometimes y'all gotta understand and see it from our perspective. That word you used earlier, we didn't have no example. Like, we didn't have nobody at our games. We didn't have nobody, you know, taking us to tournaments and talking to us just because it's Thursday. You know what I mean? Like, when things happen to us and around us, normally we had to be the man in the room. I remember having to be the man at like single digit age, sitting down at the table with my mom talking about bills. Like, I can literally remember some of the conversation. We got to pay this first, then and I was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? So it's like having that example, and that living example, man. I would have killed for that, but I understand that God had a plan, and I had to be strong enough to handle it, unless he wouldn't have even put me through it. But it gives me so much joy to be able to give it to you guys. Like, I'll do anything for y'all, man. Like, as soon as I know what's going on, it's gonna get handled. Because sometimes when I was growing up, that's all I needed. Like, I don't need you to do it for me. I just need your advice. I just need your help. I just need your push. I just need something.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? I got the rest. So I will never miss an opportunity of being there for either one of y'all, all y'all that's over there. Because sometimes, man, that's all you need. That's it, you know. And I'm so grateful to be so close to seeing that every day. I see that every day from over there, you know, and I'm learning from it. So, man, it's important. This topic is so important to me, because majority of the stuff I did, I had to do it by myself. And sometimes, yeah, that's necessary, but not every time. Right. Somebody got to love enough. Somebody got to show support enough.
Yep.
And I understand how important that is. So that's why this topic was one of my favorite, because just giving them this recognition. Once they see this, once they hear this, they're going to know, like, he thought about me enough to say that about me. So with that being said, like, this is going to be one of my favorite subjects right here on this topic right here. Giving the support, their support.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here we go. So, what message would you like to share with any other the young athletes that are pursuing their dreams while facing any of these similar challenges that we talked about?
The message I would say, man, I know it could get very hard on working on your craft every day as I'm saying right now. I know those things can get hard because you have other things going on, but don't let what could change your life bypass you from being a change of your life. Don't let something small term affect you a long term goal. Like really work on what can help you in the long run early. Like I know I see a lot of kids that hoop, man, they doing what some of us high schoolers are just now learning to do or just not really getting good into it. They're doing that already in middle school. Like dunking and stuff like that. So I would say like, man, really lock in on what you gonna do. If you're gonna like hoop or you're gonna do whatever sport that you plan on doing, this just goes for anybody, man. Like you're gonna do those things, you gotta do that to the best of your ability, and you really gotta have care, you gotta show effort, and you just gotta become better in it. Because if you lousy, if you just acting like you wanna be there, there's no point in you wasting your time. And I know a lot of parents, for those that are maybe playing any sports or anything like that, they put in a lot of time and money into it. And the investment is crazy. Like just for AAU, if you play any sport or anything like that, that investment is really, really crazy for the part for your parents. If you're telling them that that's something you want to do, you gotta do that to the best of your ability. You gotta go hard at all costs. It may be times you don't want to do it, but you gotta think like in the back of your head, this can change my life. Like if I go ahead and kill this guy in front of me, go ahead and beat him, or go ahead and do what I gotta do in this game, it possibly could change your life forever. So those things right there could carry you a long way thinking like that.
Man, them some great words to share with the youth, man, because if you're hearing it from somebody that's close to your age, it should resonate a lot more closely with you. And just to kind of polish a little bit of what he said, man, like you gotta live your life. You gotta understand that you're expiring every day. So you can't waste. You can't do it next year. You can't do it next summer. You gotta do it now, because neither one of these days are promised to me or you. So when you put yourself into something, you gotta put yourself all the way into it, or just stay all the way away from it. Because if not, you're wasting time and you're expiring while you're wasting that time. So you need to take some of these lessons that you learn in sports and transfer them to the regular everyday, the being, the tenacity, the dedication, the self-discipline, the loyalty, the duty, the respect, honoring. You got to transfer all of these things into every aspect of your life. And I'm telling you, you're gonna see the success that's starting to pile up. I believe there are some like messages going around, and I think it's Jaylen Brown, how they're showing how smart he is. But you think that doesn't come from the physical aspect that he endures every day to become a top-notch athlete? Right. He's a genius, whether you want to calculate it with book smarts or if you want to calculate it with using his God-given talent. It takes genius level skill to be a professional athlete.
That's a fact.
That's not something that you just do because you want to do it. You have to have that skill level to do it. So if you plan on being an athlete, there's no it's not ironic that most athletes, we can play music, we can draw, we can, it's not a coincidence, because we just possess that genius level or that genius skill of, I won't let this beat me. Right. I will learn how to beat these drums. I will learn how to draw this picture. Coming up, I did all of that, man. I had art in the art show. I had, it was all kind of stuff. I never made a B in math when I was growing up. I always had an A, because it was coming from that athletic side where I will not let you beat me. Right. At
it's
anything.
A mentality.
It's a mentality. It's a way of life. So if you're lazy on that court, I know your grades are in shambles. I know your outside life and your decision making is in shambles because you're not all into anything. So the stuff that he's saying, if you're gonna do it, be great at it, or at least make the attempt and the effort to be great at it, because it's only gonna help you in the long run. We know who's just half doing whatever they're doing. We can just see it. We can see it in your posture. We can see it in your demeanor. We can see it in your step. If I step on the court with somebody who is not as confident as me, that's the first thing I see, and I'm gonna kill. Oh yeah. Oh, he ain't confident today. Oh, he got something going on today at home.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can see it. You can see it on the court, man. So what we're saying and what we've taken this opportunity to sit here today and share with you guys is, man, if you're gonna do it with your all, man. Whatever it is, whether it's a podcast, whether it's athletics, whether it's school, whatever you're doing, put your all into it because it's a reflection of you. And one thing I've learned recently, man, when I was doing things for my first name, I was half doing it, I was quitting, I wasn't giving it my all. But when I started doing things for my last name, which is my legacy, the thing I plan to leave on this earth long after I'm gone, I haven't failed any of these things that I've been attempting. Because I know, like, my kids, they still gonna be here. I know the work that I've done gonna never expire because I've done it so well, and I've left little things on this earth that's gonna be here longer than I'm gonna be here.
oh yeah, that's a fact.
That's why we do this. That's why you dribble that ball and that's why you shoot that ball. It ain't all about that ball, but that ball can take us to another country. That ball can take us somewhere that, it's God-given, so it can take us, we could be on commercials tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if we do this thing the right way and we capitalize on it, that last name gonna mean something. Everybody gonna know it. They're gonna have it it's crazy as an athlete to see your name on the back of a jersey and then see your jersey on other people. That's telling me so many different things. Like, they honoring my last name because they don't even have my number with their own last name on it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I used to think about that when I used to go buy my Tracy McGrady jerseys, my Jordan jerseys. Those are my favorite athletes right there. Tracy McGrady, Randy Moss, and Michael Jordan. And they were my favorite the first time I saw them, not when everybody else, I can kind of spot it, like, oh yeah, that's greatness right there. So when I was growing up, it was like, man, I put this dude's name on my back, and then once I started understanding it, I was like, okay, I'm honoring him a little more than I'm honoring me right now. I got his shoes on, I got his, and it started hitting me as I matured and as I aged a little bit, but that's how big of an impact that is. Because of what you doing, staying out of trouble and doing the right things and honing your craft and your skill. When you honor your name to that level, we have to. We gotta buy the jersey. We gotta buy the shoes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So that's one thing I try to teach them, man, while I'm here, man. Like, take your last name serious, man, so everybody else can. You not going out and you not partying right now, you're not missing nothing. They gonna try to spin it on you like you ain't missing nothing. You missing out on literally all the BS. Y'all go ahead, y'all have that.
Yep.
That's part of y'all story. That's part of y'all legacy. Even to this day, man, at my age, near 40, people like, you still don't drink? You don't smoke? Like, what are you doing with your life? And I'm like, why do I have to be defined by putting poison into my body? Why are you judging me negatively because I won't put poison into my body? That's the stuff you do. Those are the idiots you deal with when you really operating on a level mentally that they're not.
It's a fact.
Why do I want to go to a party where I'm intending to go have fun, dance, and laugh, and somebody is here intending on shooting everybody in here that they can? Why would I go there? Why would I entertain putting my presence there to be taken off of this earth. No, I'm fine on that. You good. Y'all can go party. You know what I'm saying? You went from laughing and smiling to running and screaming. And I'm watching it on the news. Not to say every party and everything ends like that, but I'm not at a position right now in my life where I need to be celebrating nothing. I gotta work. I got work I need to do.
Right. Work hard now, you can chill later.
When I go and celebrate, when me and my wife go somewhere, we going on an island somewhere where ain't hardly nobody at, and you gotta have a few dollars to even go there. The last place we went, we had fun, but it wasn't a lot of people there because it was a resort that was, just for the people that paid to be there.
Right.
That's celebrating. That's what we trying to get to. Those are the things that we trying to see in this lifetime. So, man, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your time. And I always tell you, man, I look up to the man that I feel like you're going to become because you got a lot of these qualities that we wished a lot of our young men had. That's why you're here on this show today. You on this show today because what you've already done, but what I know you will be doing. Like, I know it's coming. It's inevitable. If you keep working with the skills and the attributes that you have right now, right this moment, man, they're not going to be able to touch you, man. They're not going to be able to understand how you got so much done on this earth with so little time. When we talking about 20 years old, you're going to probably have some things that I wish I had at 40. But that's the goal. As a man, I need to see the next generation get to where I am faster.
Yep.
I don't need you to take as long as I took because I need to see it before I'm gone.
It's important.
And I need to give you everything that I acquired while I was here. Every bit of information that I have, I tell you right now, hey, if you want it, you just ask the question. I'm going to give it to you. You better be ready. You better dump some of that non-necessary stuff out of your memory bank because I'm finna push a whole bunch of knowledge in there right in a short amount of time. I'm about to give you about 10 years worth of information, but in one conversation. So, but yeah, that's why you're here today, man, because we see the greatness. That's one thing, me, him, and his dad, we operate around greatness. Anything else, mediocrity, anything lower than greatness, man, we can't even vibrate on that on that frequency.
It's a fact.
We gotta change the channel. So appreciate y'all for tuning in to P.H.D. and me. Man, my guest Quez, he was probably one of the best, one of my favorite yet, because I know this man gonna be great, and y'all just keep a watch out for him. I'm telling you, you're gonna understand. If you don't understand right now, you're gonna know later.
Right.
All right, y'all. We out.
All right.
Yo, that's it right there.